Hello, it's Mia Condell, and I'm back with the next installment on the video series on financial education. What I want to do today is show you how over 100 million Americans are losing money, leaving money on the table by simply not filling this form out correctly. This is the Form W-4 that you get from your Human Resources Department once you enter on employment. Now, it's advised by the IRS that you revisit this form annually. The purpose of this form is to tell your employer just how many exemptions or allowances you should be having or claiming on your form, which translates to how much should show up in your paycheck. Over 80% of Americans have this form filled out incorrectly. That's big. So I want to just dive right into this form and give you some value. If you go to the first line, line A, it says enter 1 for yourself if no one else can claim you as a dependent. Line A should have a 1. Line B, enter 1 if you're single and have only one job. For the sake of this example, we're filling this form out as a single person with no children. Single and no children. So still, line A should have a 1. And then line B, you're single and have only one job, go ahead and enter 1 on line B. C says, enter 1 for your spouse, but you may choose to enter 0 if you are married and have either a working spouse or more than one job. Entering 0 may help you avoid having too little tax withheld. Well, I read the whole line, but it says enter 1 for your spouse. We could have stopped there because, remember, you're single and no children. So to go any further is just to aggravate the situation. So go ahead and put 0 on line C. D says enter the number of dependents other than your spouse or yourself that excuse me, you will claim on your tax return. Single and no children. So that, again, line D should have a 0. E, enter 1 if you will file as head of household on your tax return. And you have to see the conditions that are listed under head of household. So remember, you're single, so you're not married and you don't have any children, so you don't have any dependents. So really, nothing should go there. You don't qualify. And head of household is for unmarried folks, but again, you have to read the whole thing, and it says if you have dependents. So moving on to F. Enter 1 if you have at least $2,000 of child or dependent care expenses. That's not the case in this scenario, so go on to G. Child tax credit. Well, we don't have any children, so still that too gets a 0. And then all the way to H, where it says add lines A through G and enter the total number here. This may be different from the number of exemptions you can claim on your tax return. So what does that mean? How many of you know that there is a second page to this form? And that second page comes into play if you are a business owner. If you are a business owner, there are other exemptions that you are allowed to take on page 2, particularly a home-based business owner, that would increase the number that would go on line H. For this example, we're not going to go into that. However, if you are interested in knowing how you can get those exemptions, do not hesitate to comment or subscribe or message me. So for this example, we're going to wrap this up. line H should have a 2. Yes, line H should have a total number of exemptions at 2. So down at the bottom of the form in that line 5, you should have a 2. If you have been claiming a 0 because somebody told you to so that you would not have to pay at the end of the year, you should probably re-examine your W-4. This information can be found at the IRS website, irs.gov. Thank you, and I look forward to the next video.